Hello, and welcome to a new type of video that I may or may not keep making in the future. So the aim of this is to give my first impressions on the first half hour to hour of playtime for a game and give my first impressions. If I like it, then I'll keep continuing on the game and make a new series. But today we are here with Gundam Evolutions, a new free-to-play shooter game that came out a couple of days based on the Mobile Suits Gundam series. Now, I have been a long-term fan of the Gundam franchise. You might see some of my favorite suits in the display cabinet behind me. And I've played quite a few Gundam games, so while I know the norm is for a Gundam game, I hope that the gameplay lives up to the hype of the trailer, which normally they don't. Apologies in advance that I'm not showing my audio from the gameplay, but OBS just updated and I didn't manage to get all the stuff set up properly before I hit record, and the audio just gets blasted away by the game. So we start off with the box standard tutorial for a game, movement and combat. Pretty standard with the movements, but for a Gundam game I kind of expected a bit more thrusters and aerial movement.
Phase complete. Motor controls look good. Let's move on to the next test. This part of the testing will focus on your mobile suit's combat systems.
What strikes me in the combat section was the essential lack of weapons and movement. Previous Gundam games you get both multiple choices of melee and long range attack, and now you just really have one main attack, 3 skills and an ultimate, kind of like Overwatch. Now I understand that as an FPS game you probably don't want to confuse things too much, but you could use a number of keys to switch weapons. One other thing that I also noted was that headshots deal extra damage, but not body shots, which is where the cockpit is in most Gundam.
For your final test, I want you to complete some simulated mission objectives. Some missions require...
There is also only currently 2 game modes, point capture and destruction, essentially capture the flag and bomb defusal. I've never been a big fan of these 2 game modes in FPS games, or FPS games in general, so let's see how we go. Obviously, other than the gameplay, one key aspect in a Gundam game is the units available. Currently, there are 12 free units available, while there are 5 purchasable mobile suits, which includes Exia and Unicorn. Each of these units costs 990 coins, which is the real money currency that you pay for. Or you can get them for 1980 capital, which is the free in-game currency. Now, if you're trying to buy it with the coins, it is £8. Given that this probably gives you significant advantage over the other players, it could be worth it to you, but I'm an advocate of not spending any of your own money on free games. And it seems quite high for one single unit given what this game is. Now I must say I'm not the biggest fans of the suit here, with exceptions for Exia and Unicorn, which are paid units, and the only one I like out of the free ones is Sasabi, which actually I haven't tried in this first run, so I'll give that a go afterwards.
This is a destruction mission.
So our first game was Destruction, where we have to plant bombs and let them detonate. You then reverse the role where you have to defuse the bomb. Now, choosing Barbatos on defense was probably a bad idea, and I probably shouldn't just dash out twice and just get shot down. So I swapped to a Dom, which is probably the better choice in a fire suppression type situation. Here we can also see there is a stun mechanic, as well as going back to your base pretty much heals you immediately and shields you from enemy attacks. With the Dom we managed to get some kills and assists, as well as capture the waypoint. The way that the playable area is defined is similar to newer games, where it's just an arbitrary line you can't cross and you have to get back to it if you cross over instead of a fixed boundary. I tried the GM sniper as well, but the lack of melee, where in the old games I think you can at least throw a punch, and being in the wrong distance meant we got killed by Barbatos pretty quickly.
The Megacharge countdown has begun. Defend it until the
With RX-78 we nearly took down Ashima. The Gundam hammer is very helpful, but the fact that the shield has a cooldown and can't be used as will is definitely something that threw me off. We somehow won the first round, but the second round went a bit south for us, and because they captured one more objective than us, they won the game.
Mission complete. We've been defeated.
It's quite a tough one. Kind of the...
This is a point capture mission.
So the second game we're playing point capture. Nothing special in terms of gameplay, the same old capture the flag where you just have to occupy a space with your team or alone in a long enough time to capture it. The only thing of note is that I managed to use an ultimate while piloting a gun tank, although I didn't manage to do anything with it. The flight controls were a bit confusing and I didn't really know what I was doing.
Mission complete. We've been defeated.
Oh well. We got a couple of kills and assists, as well as repaired our teammate once, but unfortunately we didn't win the game.
Enemy has captured the
So I've played around half an hour, 45 minutes of the game. It's more of an Overwatch clone, I would say, compared to a traditional Gundam game, which kind of throws me off a little. I wanted a Gundam game from this. It's probably not too bad if you just want to play casually, but you have to spend a lot of time learning this game and the map and the units if you want to get good at it. As a Gundam game, the combat system here leaves much to be desired, with the lack of weapons and attack options. The maps are pretty fun with multiple layers, but the lack of space physics, aerial and underwater fights, which even the older games back on the PSP and Nintendo DS can do, makes this game rank fairly low on my Gundam scale, and I probably won't come back to this one. The choice of units is limited at the moment, but there are more coming in the pipeline, kind of like Gundam Battle Operations. Depending on how much money you have, the cost of units could be a bit high at £8. Overall, this is a Gundam game that I probably won't be coming back into, my favourite Gundam game still being SDGO back in the days, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, check out my other videos such as my F1 gaming series where I try to beat the 100% AI difficulty with no assist, or my flute and piano tutorials for the ABRS and graded exams. And I'll see you on the next episode of Master of None. Bye!